What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again, breaking down USFL DFS picks. It is week 10. It is our regular season finale, but we are here to bring you everything you need to know ahead of this week. Awesemo is currently going through a rebrand right now, which you can see on the screen. We are changing our name to Stokastic, and that will be something you see moving forward. You can already see it on the screen ahead of me. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We're also brought to you today by Prize Picks. And if you've never heard of Prize Picks, they're a daily prop-based site. They have all sorts of contests you can play in. You can make up to 5-player lineups where you can win 10 extra entry fee. And if you use the promo code Awesemo, you're going to get a first match deposit bonus up to $100. Sure, shortly that will change to Stokastic. But again, going through the rebrand here. But let's dive into this. We're going to start quarterbacks and we'll talk wide receivers along with them. We'd like to talk about stacks in USFL. So first thing, we have to talk about the premier quarterbacks, and Jordan Tiamou has been that all season. And it mainly comes down to volume for Tiamou. He's a player that has been throwing the ball at an incessant rate. And then you look at what he does on the ground. He's kind of an anomaly in this league in terms of rushing. You do have players like DeAndre Johnson, but he's been injured. Tiamou is a player who's had at least 4 rushing attempts in every single game except week 1, and he's been above 6 in all but 3 games. So this is a guy that has immense volume on the ground. You do have to pay for it. You look at his price, he's 11.6K, but he's very easy to run naked. And this week, naked, that just means without a wide receiver stack. This week, the Tampa Bay Bandits are only 3.5-point underdogs to Birmingham, a team that already clinched their playoff spot and might not be as competitive. So I like Tiamou again, going back to him as a safe option. He's harder to stack because Tampa Bay uses about a 7-8 player rotation at receiver and tight end, sometimes even 9. So probably Derek Dillon is your best option at 4,800, but even he is going to be a little volatile in terms of targets. Second stack we want to mention is Philadelphia, with Case Kookus finally moving up in price. He crested that 10K mark, and he's at 10.3K this week. He's not as mobile as a guy like Tiamou or DeAndre Johnson when he's getting all the snaps, but he does play on the pass-heaviest offense in the USFL. They have gone a little bit run-heavier lately, but they're still only 2.5-point underdogs to New Jersey. They're actually going to be playing next week as well, but Case Kookus has phenomenal volume through the air. And when you look at stacking options, Jordan Sewell is going to be the most consistent, 9.3K for him. But you also have some potential value. Maurice Alexander has been running as the clear wide receiver 3, but he's on the field for almost every single snap. So 3,600 is quite the value for Maurice Alexander. Just be a little wary. DeAndre Overton is returning from injury, so that might take a little dent out of his snaps, but still expecting him to be the full-time receiver. And last QB we want to talk about, give you a value option, is Kenji Bahar, the quarterback for the Houston Gamblers. He's just 6,300, which is pretty ridiculous for a slate where most of the quarterbacks, at least the starting ones, are 10K plus. But Bahar's 6.3K. He's somewhat mobile. He has 6 rushing attempts in each of the last 2 games. And again, he doesn't need to be an elite scorer. He doesn't even need 20 points at the position for him to pay off this 6.3K price tag. He also is getting back some elite players. We saw Isaiah Zuber return right back to his old role. Targets weren't there, but he still was participating in 100% of the route. So at 9,900, he's the elite stacking option. But the player you really want to look to, I think, here is Tyler Palka at 3,300. He had an over 60% route share because this team essentially is not using the tight end at this point. So you could stack him with 1 or 2 players because Palka is so cheap. And I like this stack quite a bit. Houston is a 3-point underdog to the New Orleans Breakers, who have nothing to play for this week. At the running back position, it's a little tougher than most weeks. We're starting to see a lot of these backfields resort to committees. A team like Birmingham, who had been using Bo Scarborough as a lead back, started using CJ Marable again. You now have DeAndre Johnson back from New Jersey, so that's a 3-way timeshare. Even Pittsburgh introduced a third back in James Gilbert. So when we look at the top, Philadelphia still stands out. You have Matt Colburn at 10K now. So can you still play him? I think the answer is yes. They just moved Paul Terry to the inactive list and moved up Darnell Holland. That's a little more of a concern. But Colburn has just been elite in terms of his rushing ability, and he has such a solid role out of the pass game. 4 targets last week for Colburn. He's worth paying up for at 10K. And another player that stands out, price adjusted, is Anthony Jones. He's working in a timeshare with Jordan Ellis in New Orleans right now. It's about a 60-40, maybe 55-45 split in favor of Ellis. But Jones is out there for a lot. And when you look at his price, 5,400, he's just one of these players that opens up a lot of salary for you, especially at the running back position. So I would rather get to Jones, who essentially has, the 1B role in this offense for New Orleans right now. If you're looking at one-off receivers, hard to get away from Lance Lenore, the number one target getter in the league. Still willing to go back to him, even though that situation in Michigan, pretty rough at quarterback. But that'll do it for us today. Again, I am Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you again next time.